Today we'll be doing a little practice adding integers and subtracting integers. So if we look up at the top, adding integers, we will discuss that adding means to move to the right on the number line. So to the right on the number line. So here's our example. So if we start at -4 and we move right 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we come to +3. So that is our answer. So we will look at 5 plus 3. So if I start at 5, right, and I move over 1, 2, 3, so that would be 6, 7, and 8. The answer is 8. Or if we do -1 plus 3, so if I start at -1 and I move to the right 3, 1, 2, 3, I get 2. So if you'll notice, -1 plus 3 is the same thing as 3 minus 1, right? That's just you don't have to use that, it's just a thing. So -3 plus 18, if I started all the way over here at -3 and then I moved to the right 18, where would I end up? I would end up at 15. So I'd like you to stop the video right now and figure out 31, 30, and 32 on your own. Feel free to use a number line. So now we'll talk about subtracting integers. So if adding integers means moving to the right, to subtract means to move left, right, on the number line. So right here we started at -2 and we're subtracting 3, so we're going 1, 2, 3. What did we end up at? Negative. So now we'll do number 35. So let's say I have a number line and it's got a bunch of spaces on it, and I'm starting at -12, so I'm just going to put -12 right here, and then I'm going to move left 6 more spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So -12, -13, -14, -15, -16, -17, -18. So the answer over here is -18. We can do that with number 36 as well. Number 36 says 14 minus 7. We have a number line. We start at 14 and we move that many spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we label all of these, that's 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So it is 7. And then finally, we'll finish up with number 39, or I'll finish up with number 39. So number 39 says -9 minus 1. So if we start at -9 and we go 1 to the left of -9, if you visualize that, so this is -9, what's 1 to the left? -10. So I'd like you to go ahead and just pause your video right now and finish number 34, number 37, and number 38 on your own. Before we move on to the applications, I just want to write over here on the left-hand side some of the rules, I guess, of adding and subtracting integers to help you out when the numbers get really big. So before we work on any of these applications, I kind of want to just give you a little reminder, and it's over here on the left underneath the word applications. So if you have a positive number and a positive number, you will always have a positive answer, right? And if both of your numbers in there, if a negative number plus a negative number, the answer will be negative. And then if you have a positive number and a negative number, and the positive number is the biggest, then you know that the answer will be positive and it will simply be positive number minus the negative number will be your answer. But if the positive number is smaller and the negative number is bigger, the answer has to be negative. So you just have to figure out what the difference is between there. So you would have like 2 plus negative 14. You would take 14 minus 2, and it would be negative 12. So just think, if the negative number is bigger, the answer has to be negative. And then just really think about which. So now we'll go ahead and do a couple of these applications together. I will start with number 41. Number 41, Blair's bank account was overdrawn by $40. She spent $30 at the grocery store. What is the balance in her account now? So we ask ourselves, overdrawn bank account, negative 40, right? Oh, she spent 30 more, so she took 30 more out, so negative 30. So I've got a negative number and a negative number, so I know my answer is going to be negative. But negative what? I suggest if we just take 40 and we add 30, so we know how many total there are, right? There's 70 total. It's going to be negative 70, because two negatives will always have a negative answer. I think we'll do number 44 as well right now. Number 44 just says the lava in a volcano rests 220 feet below sea level. When the volcano erupts, the lava shoots 930 feet upwards. So how high does the lava reach before it starts to fall? So the lava rests how many feet below sea level? Negative 220, right? And then when it erupts, how far up does it go? So up is going to be positive. It's going to be positive 930. So the first thing I'm going to ask myself, is my answer going to be positive or negative? Well, I have a negative and I have a positive. So my answer is going to be positive. And then how do I figure out what the difference is? How far apart are 930 and negative 220, right? So I'm going to take 930, the positive number, and I'm going to subtract 220. And 930 minus 220 is going to be 710. So it's positive 710 because I took 930 and I subtracted negative 20. So I'm going to do one more. And the one I'm going to choose to do is number 43. 43 says Mason is skiing with friends. He starts at an elevation of 420 feet. He descends 600 feet down the mountain into a valley. What is his elevation when he stops? So he starts at 420 feet above sea level. And then he descends, or he goes down 600, right? So what is that? What's our answer going to be? I've got negative 600 and I've got positive 420. My answer has to be negative because that's the bigger number, right? The bigger value. And then I just take negative 600 and I add 420, right? Which, can we do it that way? Or we could just take 600, right? The 600, which is the biggest, and we're just going to subtract the 420. So 600 minus 420 is 180. And since the answer has to be negative, I'm going to do negative 180. So why did I subtract, though? Think. I had negative 600 and positive 420. Why did I subtract 600 minus 420 to get 180? Because I just want to know the difference, right? And difference is subtraction. So I just worry about the biggest number minus the smallest number. And then since they're both negative, well, since the biggest number is negative, I know the answer has to be negative. So if you see, the rules are a little different because negative from this one to number 41. At number 41, I had a negative 40 and a negative 30. And I had a negative 70. What did I do with the 40 and the 30? I added them because, once again, I just wanted to know how much total there is. It gets a little confusing. We'll just practice. You can feel free to use a calculator. I'm going to go ahead and set up, I think, number 42, and then I will let you do the answering for that one. Peter sets out at a run 4 miles west of his school. West is to the left, right, of his school. And then he runs, so he starts over here and then he runs right. So if we think about west being left, right, what's left of 0 is going to be negative. So he starts out at -4 and then he goes to -14. So think about what the answer is, what sign is of the answer, and then what you would do. So finish up number 42, number 40, and number 45, and then go ahead and submit this back up to Notability.